Hello everyone. In this video, I'd like to take a look at some of the basics dealing with percents. Namely, I want to take a look at how we convert back and forth between percents, decimals, and even fractions. So to start off with, the definition of a percent, it means parts per 100. It literally comes from the Latin word meaning per 100. So the percent represents the number of parts out of a total of 100 parts. So we can use that fact to easily convert between percents and decimals. And let's start with that. So I have a couple numbers here. I have some decimals and I have some percents. And let's convert these. So to start off with, let's take a look at the decimals. So the first one, I have 0.47. So as a decimal, and if I want to convert this into a percent, using what I know, a percent represents parts per 100, we can simply convert this to a percent by multiplying by 100. Multiplying by 100, an easy way to do that with decimals is we can just move this decimal point 2 spots to the right. So in doing that, we end up with 47. And then I do need to include a percent sign to know that I am talking about a percent. To go through that process one more time, I have 1.05. So if I want to write this as a percent, we'll multiply by 100. That's the same as moving the decimal spot 2 spots to the right. So we end up with 105%. Now, if I start with the percent and I want to convert it to a decimal, this is just the reverse process. So this tells me I have 130%. That means I have 130 parts per 100. So if I want to rewrite this as a decimal, I just need to go backwards. So instead of multiplying by 100, we're going to divide by 100. And dividing by 100, we can do this by moving the decimal point in the opposite direction. So at the end of 130, I have my decimal point, and dividing by 100 is the same as moving that decimal spot 2 places to the left. And when I rewrite this, I can drop the percent sign. So here I end up with 1.3. And for the last one, just to go through that one more time, 0.5% to convert to a decimal, we will divide by 100. I have my decimal spot here. I'll move that 2 spots. So my decimal point ends up here, and I am going to need to add in an extra 0. So we have 0.005 as a decimal. So going back and forth between percents and decimal numbers is a matter of multiplying or dividing by 100. But what if we have fractions? So here I have a couple of fractions, and to convert these into decimals, we have 2 options. One of the options is I can rewrite the fraction as a decimal first. So for example, 5/8 as a decimal, this is the same as 0.625. So now that I have this as a decimal, to convert it to a percent, we'll use the same process that we did before, and we will multiply this by 100. Multiplying by 100, we move the decimal spot 2 places to the right, so we get 62.5, and then we can't forget our percent sign. The second way that we can convert a fraction into a percent is we could write it over a denominator of 100. Again, because a percent literally means parts per 100, if my denominator is 100, the numerator will represent my percent. So here I have 9/20. So I want to make the denominator 100. So to make my denominator of 20 equal to 100, we're going to multiply by 5. And I also need to multiply the numerator by 5. This gives me a fraction of 45/100. So I have 45 parts per 100, so my percent is 45%.